Hello guys, welcome to another video tutorial. Here we'll be learning how to configure home drives and folder redirection. Right here I'm on my domain controller, which is my server. Okay, I'm going to create the user account which is going to be using this PC. Make sure it's accessing some files of A centrally on his computer in a flexible manner. Okay, so before we do that, we need to create this user account, and probably I don't want to use my server manager. We'll go to the MMC. Okay, and then from the MMC I'm going to add in the snapping for my users and computers, and also I'll be using group policy, so I'm going to add in the group policy management. Okay, and the users and computers. Okay, so this is not needed, so I can remove it. This is supposed to be once. Remove it. I'm going to move this up. Okay, and then I go for OK. Alright guys, so now I have this here. Okay, so here I have my group policy, and then I have my Active Directory users and computers. Okay, so I'm going to create a new user. Okay, and arrange it properly on my network. So this is what I'm going to do here. I'll create a new organizational unit. Okay, I'm going to call it office. Okay, that is the office room. Okay, and inside our office I have computers. Okay, so I'm going to create another OU called cool computers. Okay, and then I'll create another one inside that particular OU, and call it cool users. Okay, so guys, on the cool computers, I have a computer I joined to my domain, which is called user PC. So I'm just going to cut that, move it away from there, and then put it on my cool computers. Okay, yeah, I want it. So I've done this. Okay, my users as well, I need a user there. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom out well to see everything. I need a user there, so I'll go for new user. The user should be called Vincent Ayorinde. Okay, Ayorinde, and then the logon name should be Vincent, or let's just put the Ayorinde. Okay, alright, that is the logon name. So next, and the password should be what we want it to be. Okay, and the user should be able to change his password. Alright guys, we have an OU here called office, and inside that OU we have the computers OU for that particular OU, and we have what cool users OU for the same OU. So this is more like a department. Alright, so guys, you want to log into the computer we have here. Okay, this user want to log into his computer called user PC. So let's switch on to the PC to see what we have there. Okay guys, right here on this PC, the user is going to log on to his account. Okay, so it says Vincent Tech Block, sign into Vincent Tech Block. So I'm just going to put the username, okay, and then put the password. Of course I have to change my password on this login, so I'll put in my new password. Alright, so it's logging me in right away. Okay guys, we're on our client PC now. When we come here, we can see what we have. Just on my Windows 8. Okay, and if you realize this user is part of this domain, but whenever it works on this PC, okay, all it does is just to store it stores information when he works on this PC, he stores his documents and other things on this PC. Okay, where does it store it? Because most users really store their informations on my documents folder. Okay, which is obvious because they don't really know about computer, and then when they store it there, it's difficult for it or this document to be accessed centrally. Okay, so it becomes a very huge problem because it's a network, okay, or it's an organization, so every file needs to be centrally organized. Okay, so how can we let that possible? How can we make that possible? On the client PCs, we can easily come to properties of the documents folder, and we're going to see here the default location of the documents folder. It's on the C drive users their username, that is IORINE, and then it should be stored there. That is, document should be stored there. You can easily add a location here, okay, and then set a drive. But if we do that, we will be doing it for all the PCs on the network, okay, which is not cool. So we can share a folder from our file server, okay, or any server you have on your network, which is for administrative purpose and for storage alone. You can create a shared folder there and then add the shared path or the home drive for what the users in Active Directory. So instead of doing this here, we're basically going to go to the Active Directory now to make it possible for this user to be able to access the shared drive. Now we're going back to the domain controller. Alright guys, here on the domain controller, I'm going to minimize this, okay, and then create a new folder and share it. Okay, so new folder called, let's say, company documents. Alright, now after creating this folder, I right click on it and go for properties, sharing. Okay, sharing, I'm going to go for advanced, share. Okay, its default name would be what? Company documents. Alright, and then we can add the permissions. Under the permissions here, okay, you don't add everyone, okay, because everyone is probably a vulnerable kind of settings. Okay, so please let's remove that, and then we add the authenticated users. Okay, that's authenticated. Okay, and we'll go for OK, and then make sure they have full control. Apply, and go for OK. Apply, OK, and then OK. Alright, so now we can access that particular, this is the shared folder. Alright, basically guys, so now after doing this, we go to our MMC. Okay, I think I removed the earlier one I have there, so let me add or remove snapping. Okay, the users and computers is needed. Also the group policy management is also needed. So this time around I'm going to save the MMC configuration I'm making here so that I won't have to do it again. Alright guys, so after doing this, you come all the way down here to the user we created, which is in the Office OU, where we have cool users. Okay, so now under that we have Vincent IO. Right click on him and go for properties. Okay, from there we'll go on to the home folder section, which is right here, connect. Alright, so guys, here we have various drive letters we could use. Okay, ensure that you select one that is not being used already by the system, because nowadays the new systems you have comes with the SD cards, and they all get drive letters, and you can conflict it with the one you select here. So ensure you check that drive letter before you select here. So I'm going to use the V. I'll type my part name here, which is DC1 company documents. Okay, and then I'm going to ensure uniformity and to let go errors, I'm going to use my username variable. Alright, and then after doing that, you apply, okay, and then you go for okay. So let's come out. After doing that, basically we're done with the home drive settings. So when we come to the desktop now, we have our company files. You realize we have the username, okay, folder created, that is Iorinde has been created. Okay guys, so when we go to our client computer, we realize that the client can now store information in the home drive, okay, and then it will be stored here on the central location inside his username. That can happen for various users. Okay, so that is how easy it is. So let's check the user. Let's check the client PC. All right, guys. So we're going to log on to the client PC. I think I restarted it earlier, so it's going to load me the settings. Okay, so now when I go to my computer interface, I should see an home drive right there. Alright guys, here we have our home drive. As you can see, we have Iorinde, and then it's linked to that shared folder, and it's going to be using the hard disk on the that server we created the folder on, that is the company documents. So guys, whenever Iorinde stores an information here, let's say it's going to create a new notepad file, okay, and title it I created this for the boss. Alright, I will switch over to the server. Okay, you can see here we have the company documents. You open it, we have Iorinde. When we open it, we have what he created right there. Okay, it's as easy as that. So now guys, and that is how you create an home drive. Okay, going back to the client, when it stores information on my documents, still it's not good because it will line on this computer, and we want them to store informations on the home drive. And right now it means that whenever they want to store anything at all, if they created, let's say, a notepad file, okay, sorry, notepad file, and then try to save it, okay, it automatically opened the my documents folder for them. And most users don't really know this. They don't know how to maybe switch to my computer and save into my home drive. Okay, so how do we redirect this home drive to the my documents folder? Okay, everything stored here, how do we redirect it to the home drive? It's something easy. Okay, and take note before we move on, if this you configured and this is not showing, just ensure you log off your system and log on again so that you can see the policy take effect. All right, now to configure the redirection, we have to go back to our domain controller where we have a group policy, and configure the folder redirection there. Okay, and guys, before I move on, I want to talk on something about offline files. Offline files needs to be disabled. It can be disabled right here on the system. We'll go to manage, okay, fine. I need to provide my administrative account. Okay guys, so the services feature would have to go there to turn off the offline files, and it's something that is in the services, but it means that if we have to do that, we have to do it for all the systems on the network, which is not going to help us. Okay, so guys, we can easily go and do that also on our group policy server, but before we go there, I want to show you right here where we have the offline files, and what it basically means is it stores information and then can cause duplication and redundancy of information which you don't want. Okay, the same files or the same folders could be right everywhere. Okay, and then causes information to be duplicated, and that can cause some errors. As you can see here, we have offline files. Okay, that should be stopped all the time and disabled. Okay, but we can't do that here. We can do that on our group policy, so let's switch over there. Okay guys, on my MMC right here, the offline files we are going to configure would have to be a computer policy. Okay, would have to be a computer policy. So that's why we have our computer right here in this OU called computers OU, and we have our users or a user, okay, Vincent right here in this OU. So we'll switch down here to the group policy. Okay, I'm not using the server manager, so I have everything in my MMC, so I can easily come down to the policy. Okay. So I have domains, I have my Vincent Tech blog, and I should have my OU right there. Okay, so guys, I want to set the policy, okay, for the computer as well, the user. Okay, so I'm going to create the policy right here under the Office OU. I link it here, so I'm going to create and link it here. Okay, so this should be called folder redirection policy. Alright, I'm gonna go for OK. It says its name already exists, really? Okay, so maybe I created that. Folder redirection new policy. Okay, new policy, so go for OK. And now as you can see here, we have the folder redirection policy. We can right click and edit it. Okay, this is what we got here, just like we needed. So under the computer configuration, we'll go to the policies, okay, and then we come down here to administrative templates, and then we have network. Right here we have your offline files. Okay, we have your offline files. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out to see everything intact. Okay, now you can see here I have my allow or disallow use of offline files. I have my allow or disallow use of offline files. So there's it. Allow or disallow. So I'm going to double click on that to manipulate it, and then disable it. Okay, I'm going to disable it. You can further go and read about it there. It has an information there. So we are done with the computer configuration right there. So we're going to minimize it. Okay, minimize. Now the user configuration, we come down here to policies. Okay, and then we have here, we come down here to Windows settings. Okay, and then we have folder redirection. Okay, we can basically redirect our documents, our pictures folder, music folder, so that when they store any information there, it will redirect it to our shared location. So let's firstly redirect the document by going to properties of it, and then here we come to basic redirect everyone's folder to this same location, and we wanted to create a folder for each user under the root. And then what is the root? Right here, this is it. DC1, okay, company files, company documents, alright. So this is what's basically going to do. Say for user clear, this folder will be redirected to, as you can see, so this is all we need here. So the username will come and documents will come. So that is all we need here. We go for apply. It says, do you want to continue? Yeah, I want to continue, and then go for OK. Pictures as well, we want to redirect that. Okay, we should create a basic redirection. Okay, and create a folder for each, and then we'll put the right part there. Okay. Company files, documents again. documents. Okay, and then we'll go for apply because we want to do that. And then we can also go ahead pictures. Okay, we want to also redirect pictures. Okay, right here. We just did pictures. Let's see what else should we redirect. Let's try to redirect videos as well. Okay. All right, so backslash dc1. Okay, company files, company documents. What again? Documents. I did that again. Wow. All right, apply, and then yes, and then go for OK. All right, guys, so that is basically it. Okay, all right, guys, that is basically, we've just created a folder redirection, so we can minimize that and then go for close. Right click on the policy and make sure you click on enforce. Okay, guys, so after we're done with this configuration, you just have to go to the client computer because the computer configuration we added as well. Okay, so we have to restart the system. So we're here, we're gonna restart the system right here. Okay. So when it's back up, you're gonna see me again. Boom. Alright, guys, it's just been restarted. So you can go over to my documents. Alright, Vincent logged on back. Okay, that's I already logged on back, so sorry for the confusion. So I already logged on back. Alright, so now on this my computer folder is still has this home drive. Okay, make sure, okay, you run the group GP update. Okay, that's group policy update /force. Okay, so you just need to run GP update. All right, and then it's all right. So it says there are some policies that needs to be added. Okay, and the system needs to be logged up and logged on. Go yes, it should sign out. Okay, that it should log me off. So I'm going to log on back to the system. Alright, guys, so okay, let's check to see what we got. Okay, check the properties of the document. We realize now, guys, that my documents now is linked to a shared folder. Okay, which is what we want. Alright, so now when Vincent or Iorinde, okay, creates a new notepad file now. Let's say he creates a new notepad file. Okay, so we're just gonna go to notepad. Alright, and then say this is the new notepad file for me, and I want you to see it. Alright, now when I go to file, save, it opens up my documents direct. I'm going like, okay, no problem. Alright, now save that. Now when I save that, guys, fine, coming to my documents right here, it's there. Okay, but now when I come to my computer, I see my folder already. You can see I have my documents, pictures, videos, live with date, and when I go to my documents, no problem is there. Okay, so that's how we configure folder redirection with the home drive. It's something simple, and as you just see, or as you just saw the process. Okay, so now when I go back to my file server or my domain controller, which I use, is here, right here. Okay, you can see I have my company documents and I have Iorinde. So if I have 100 clients, 50 clients, 30 clients, 10 clients, instead of manually creating folder for them, sharing and all that problems, I can easily do stuff like this. Go to home drive and configure folder redirection. So Here I have iReader. You can see all is my documents, my pages, everything. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, okay, comment, share, give me your ideas, okay, visit my blog. I would like to hear a lot from you. All right, response and all that matters. Your response matters, your like matters, your comment matters. Okay, thank you. I have a lot of videos in bulk, okay, for you. Okay, so please stay tuned. Subscribe. Bye.